Good evening, Davey MacManus.
Good evening. How you doing?
Hey, very good. Lovely to have you joining us here on Radio Wales this evening, Davey. Thin Lizzy, don't believe a word. Dublin through and through, of course. But, I mean, words got me thinking about the Bluster Boy, about your brand new book. It says musician, writer, skater, boxer, nurse, 30 years of writing. You've kind of lived your life through these words, haven't you, Davey?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just can't believe how old I am. Like that. Yeah, it's scary. So, well, first of all, yeah, it's a real pleasure. It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you so much. And it's been years, maybe 15 or 20 years since I saw you face to face, Huw.
It probably is. I mean, I got to know you through your band, through the Crockets and the Crimea, and you formed those bands on the west coast of Wales, didn't you, in Aberystwyth?
Yeah. So starting in kind of 1995 in Aberystwyth. Yes. Yeah.
When did you form the Crockets, Davey? Was this like late 1990s, was it?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I moved to Aberystwyth in the summer of 1994.
Right.
So I just turned 18 and I had like my guitar and my surfboard and one of those army kit bags. And I was going to the Welsh Agricultural College to study countryside management.
Right.
But I didn't really like it there in the college. I left the college quite soon and I started playing music, and we formed the Crockets, kind of that year almost. Late 94, beginning of 95, and we just, that's when we started.
And you found, you had great success. You signed to V2 Records, didn't you? Were you on the label the same time as the little-known Welsh band Stereophonics?
Yeah, we signed on the same day, actually, yes. I mean, we were friends with the Stereophonics before they even got signed. Yeah, we brought them to Aberystwyth and we went down and we actually played in Swansea with them before both of us were signed. We were kind of friends already.
Yeah.
As we were part of that music scene in Wales.
Fantastic. You write in your book, which is a fascinating read, and it's full of pictures and memories, and you write about going to raves in and around Aberystwyth around that time as well, and there's pictures of the Crockets, but also the band that you became then, the Crimea, but not that many from the Aberystwyth days, I don't think, Davey. A lot of them are taken on tour, aren't they?
A lot of the photographs. Yeah, I mean, I made an appeal for photographs from those days, and I didn't really have many photos at all. I mean, we didn't even have cameras. We didn't have phones. This was like 94 to kind of 2000.
Yeah.
So I really couldn't find photographs from then yet. But I mean, I used to love going to free parties. It was like really hardcore kind of GABA sort of music and with all the MCs from Aberystwyth, but, in Borth, in Trevecyn, Machynlleth.
Yeah.
Every summer we went to free parties and, someone brings a PA system, they set it up. And, I always brought my guitar and, it was an incredible place and an incredible time as well.
And music's followed you throughout your life, through all of the ups and downs, and you've chosen some records to play this evening. I'm very happy that you've chosen some of your own as well. It's the Crockets up first. We're going to play 6, soon to be 7. And what's beautiful in the Bluster Boy, in this book, is you reminisce about where you were at the time when you wrote the words, the poetry, which became songs. Can you tell us a little about the song we're about to hear, Davey?
Sure, yeah. So I'll just read a tiny extract from the book. It says, in the back garden of Wesley Lawns, my mum cut all our hair and made our clothes and teddy bears. This poem ended up being the basis of the Crockets song, 6 soon to be 7. The poem was written when looking out my window, studying mathematics for the leaving certificate, watching the local kids playing on my street. Yeah, so a lot of the songs, the words came from earlier poems, or the poems came into songs, or the poems inspired a song. But yeah, this song was inspired by looking out my window when I was studying for my leaving certificate, which is the Irish A-levels.
Sure. Let's hear it.
down. Well, she doesn't seem to care. She just wants honey buns to hide behind the wall again. Well, she doesn't seem to see she's just 6, soon to be 7. She's just 6, soon to be 7. Suit again. Got bananas in his belt, don't have any guns, but he shoots the postman. His mother calls, come home for dinner, but no, he doesn't want to go in. He is playing marbles at the stream with little Mary. Sally just tore us down. Well, he doesn't seem to care. He just wants honey buns to hide behind the wall again. Well, he doesn't seem to see he's just 6, soon to be 7. He's just 6, soon to be 7.
It's great to hear your voice again, Davey. Not just talking tonight on BBC Radio Wales, but singing as well. 6 soon to be 7. When you hear that song of yours by the Crocketts, does that take you back to the place and the headspace you were in when you wrote that song?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I played that song on my recent tour, and everyone loved that song. They literally sang every single word of it. It was amazing, actually.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And yeah, it's strange because it was never a single or anything like that, but it was just one that everyone seemed to like,
Yeah, it's lovely. What strikes me about the book is you write very openly and honestly about the pain you were in when you were in the band. I mean, I always knew you were a tortured soul, Davey. I always knew you had a deep, a beautiful voice and these deep romantic lyrics and words. But I mean, you talk in the book about that you would be pressured by record labels. You would self-harm. You talk about your eating disorders in the book. You talk about drug addiction as well. Do you, when you look at the Crimea and the Crocketts and the success that you had, is it difficult for you to think about the good times because there were so many bad times?
Oh no! I mean, we had such a good time.
Right.
We had an amazing time, and yeah, it was just that I kind of reached a point where it didn't matter how good a time we were having, or if we were on top of the pops, or if we were in China or wherever we were. I was still really sad. I was still really my mental health was still really affecting me, so it kind of it became. It became a situation where it really didn't matter what success we were having. I still felt the same way, that the success wasn't a cure for my mental health, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Or was that because you were on the music treadmill, because everything was so fast-paced and you wanted success, and the way to do that was just to carry on with all the rock and roll antics?
I don't know. I don't know if I ever even wanted success. I don't even know if I wanted to be a musician. It just happened to me. Now I did it. I made demos. I put them in the post. I made cassettes and I sent them to all the labels. And Richard Branson came to Aberystwyth and blah blah blah. But at the same time, from the point we were signed, like my life was controlled. It was controlled, and it was controlled by the need to have hits to be in the top 40. So my life just became about trying to get on Radio 1's playlist from that point on.
And we all know that to have success and to have a hit, it's got nothing to do with the quality of the song, does it? I mean, your songs were fantastic and made so many people happy, and the quality was so extremely high. As is a lot of artists and musicians' music, it doesn't equate to a hit and, financial and commercial success, does it?
Sure. I mean, I guess we were kind of always nearly there, Huw, we were right on the cusp the whole time. And I guess we had the potential to turn into that. But, we were also very artistic in what we wanted to do. So we were always at odds with the record company because we wanted to be poetic and artistic and groundbreaking, and they wanted hits, so that was a problem.
I'm looking at one of the pictures in the book here. A magazine calls you Mr. Self-Destruct. So you were kind of painted with this brush. Was the self-destructive part of you, was that expected, do you think, from the press and from us in the media?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying hard to kind of figure out how that started. Huw, I think I probably started that myself, like hitting myself or hurting myself. And then as I became known for doing that, then it progressed and progressed and progressed. And it seemed like the more I hurt myself, the more attention we got, or the more blood. And we were just doing stupid things, like we were supporting the Stereophonics once in Principality or the Millennium Stadium back then. And like we only lasted 5 songs because I hit myself with the guitar. And so we were it was kind of hindering us in a way. In another way, it was giving us so much publicity. So I was kind of tied into that. I couldn't get out of that cycle of harming myself. And then, when the band finished, I continued to do that to myself, even though, nobody was watching. So, it was a problem that it was, I guess, like an addiction that I developed, of always hurting myself. Yeah.
I didn't realise that sport was such a love and another addiction of yours, specifically skateboarding. Do you?
Yeah, I love skateboarding. Yeah. I skateboarded all my life, and I put out a short film just recently. It's called Skate, and it's got me skateboarding now I'm at 48, and then me skateboarding in Africa several years ago. I brought a load of skateboards there, and I taught a load of the local homeless kids to skate. And we went skateboarding every night for like 4.5 months, and it was an incredible time. Yeah, so I made a short film about it. But yeah, I still love skateboarding. I'm at the minute I'm trying to learn a trick a day. That's my plan.
Very good.
Now, raining today, so there's no trick today.
Very good. I want to talk to you about Africa. We'll do that in a minute. Let's hear the next song. This is The Only Living Boy and Girl. And was it the skateboard in Aberystwyth? That was a big part of your...
Yeah, I loved skateboarding in Aberystwyth, but I mean, mainly in Aberystwyth, I was surfing because Aberystwyth is right on the coast, and it's not quite, you don't get quite the waves of Pembroke, okay, because it's got Ireland in the way of the Atlantic, but it's still a great surf spot. And there's kind of 4 or 5 different breaks along the coast, just within walking distance of the seafront.
Right.
Then you've got Borth, and then you've got Clan further down. So you've got all these different spots. If you're lucky, you can surf nearly every day there. And it's just a wonderful life. Yeah, I loved surfing in Aberystwyth. So yeah, this is for all the surfers in Aberystwyth.
Man stand desolate, lonely as a cloud. All his far-flung fantasies gone when they ripped it out, when they ripped it out. Climb the tallest tree, watch the Bloody Mary sunset cascade across the city, where hope is being switched off like a thing off television. You're still out there, I don't know where, and it's killing me. Every second is killing me, but behind the forced smile, I was only flesh and bone to you. And I will never walk up those stairs again, and I will never walk up those stairs again. We could go anywhere, even the stars. The only living boy, and only living girl. And I will always be haunted by that moment. Woke up and she was gone. I'm not angry, I'm just sad. Cannot stand this planet. When I was a kid, I used to think everything would be okay. Now I walk down the street and want to chop the head off every person I see. If this is it, if this is all there is, I don't want to play anymore. The bandstand burns tonight, and I'm going up with it. Don't believe in waking up each day. Don't believe in playing this game. Don't believe in written prophecies. Don't believe in my own destiny. Don't believe in miracles. Strange things just happen. There's no such thing as miracles. But I'll walk up those stairs again. We could go anywhere, even the stars. The only living boy, only living girl. We could be Adam and Eve, rulers of the earth. When I was in your arms,
My guest is Davey MacManus, talking about the Bluster Boy, his new memoir, and the book is full of wonderful memories, lots of wonderful words, pictures, but also your poems and lyrics to songs like that, Davey, The Only Living Boy and Girl. And I'm just reading the part before it where you say, I wasn't like the other kids. I got bullied and felt like I didn't belong there. But now at least I belonged in the world. I was a skater. So that made you feel part of a club, did it, skating?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. I was, and you know, they were all really cool. They had cut off combats and Converse. They were all older than me, you know. So I was accepted by them, you know, because I was the skateboarder. And that was really important. Yeah, it was an important part of my upbringing and of my life. And I've skateboarded all my life. Everywhere I go in the world, I've always brought my skateboard.
Yeah.
Always brought skateboards to Africa with me, and it's a really good way of meeting people, and it's a really good way of seeing the world as well from your skateboard.
Well, let's talk about Africa. What took you to Africa?
Well, yeah, I mean, I spent all those years in the band, on major labels, you know, running around, and I just thought you only ever play to kind of rich white kids, basically. In countries where people can afford 20 euros or 20 sterling or $20 a ticket. So I wanted to go to a proper country, but I wanted to go there properly, you know. So I decided to become a nurse, with that goal specifically of going to volunteer there in Africa. And so I left the Crimea, and I did my nursing training, and in between my second and third year, I went to Africa for the first time. Yeah, that's the chapter, circumcision in the book.
And what did you specialise in? Because you're dealing with patients who have HIV/AIDS. Was that your speciality?
Well, I was working initially at the Hospital for Tropical Medicine and specialising in HIV. But then I guess most of my career I was in emergency nursing.
Right, okay. And you write beautifully about the people that you encounter and the way of life there. Can you describe to us what it was like? You talk about taking, is it 30 mouth organs out there, trying to bring people out of their shells through music?
Yeah, well, no, I actually brought 300.
Oh, 300, forgive me. Yeah.
And actually, Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol, he paid for me to buy instruments and the skateboards. So I brought like enough drums for a drum circle, lots of guitars and all those harmonicas each time. But the first time I went, I bought these cheap Chinese harmonicas. And they didn't last like 2 weeks. They all went out of tune and they sounded dreadful. But the children still played them, yeah. But I mean, I always brought harmonicas, but the last time when I went to Deep Sloot with the homeless children, I gave away all the harmonicas. And then the next day, so many of them had their harmonicas stolen, because they were playing it on the street and somebody just saw them and just, punched them in the face and stole their harmonica. It was so heartbreaking. But yeah, they loved the harmonicas. And because my mother gave me a harmonica when I was a child, I still have that harmonica. And she taught me how to play Amazing Grace. So I've always loved the harmonica. And it's a beautiful thing to give someone.
And Davey, you write about your parents beautifully in the book as well, and about the upbringing they gave you and your family. And I mean, that's clearly remained. There's a chapter devoted to your mother and a chapter devoted to your father, isn't there?
Yeah, sure, yeah. And I have my grandfather's boots on stage with me as my backdrop on this tour.
Right.
Yeah, my family is very important to me. I honestly think that if I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for my family. They're really important to me. Myself and Annie were the London branch of the family for many years with Dave and Gwen, and my uncle and aunt there. Yeah. And now at the moment I'm back in Ireland with where my folks and my brother and sister are.
That's wonderful. Tell me more about Africa. How long were you in Africa?
Sure. So I volunteered 3 times, each time for a little bit longer. The last time it was like nearly 5 months. Yeah. And I was also there in a rehab center for quite a long period of time as well, in a clinic.
Now we should say, and you were a patient in the rehab center, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And did you go specifically to that rehab centre in Africa, or did you realise that you needed to be in a centre whilst you were in Africa?
No, it was. I can't remember the specifics, Huw. It was in the middle of some kind of crisis.
Sure.
It just, I loved Africa. It seemed like a good thing to do, and it was famous for their specialising in eating disorders and also addiction, which were both problems I had at the time.
Yeah. And had you always suffered from eating disorders, Davey, or did that come to you later in life?
No, that's something that started early. I've got it in the book here. I can just read that little section of how it actually started, Huw.
Okay.
So it's very short. Yeah, so it's hard to really pinpoint the start of my eating disorder. There was a number of factors. The first was a photo shoot with the record company, and I looked chubby. And, someone said that to me, hey, you look a bit chubby. Then I was modeling topless in Dear Deirdre in the Sun newspaper. And quite often when I stage dived, the fans would rip off my T-shirt. We did a support for Amen in the Astoria. It was one of those NME shows, and there was a photo of me with no T-shirt. Somehow, slowly, I stopped eating, and then when I did eat, I made myself sick. Before long, I was doing it 10 times a day. I wrote a song about it called Six Shoulders, Six Stone. For you, my feather, the war is over. You built a desert in the kitchen. Jesus Christ, the coward, only lasted 40 days. My baby went all the way. Are you happy now? Six shoulders, six stone. Yeah, so I guess it started when I first, found fame, I suppose, a little bit of fame, and that's when it started, Huw.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you still suffer from it, Davey, if you don't mind me asking, or are you better now?
Well, I mean, in the last 5 or 6 years of my life, I've lived without my eating disorder, Huw. But you're always an addict if you're addicted to something, and you have to work every day to stay away from that thing. Yes, or to be free of that thing, you have to work every day.
Sure. Let's play your next choice tonight, and you've chosen something from Audrey Hepburn. Why this then?
Yeah, I just love this song. I used to sing it all the time. It's in one of the poems over in the book. Play Moon River over and over again. Walk through Camden with the mangy foxes, and I just love the way she sings. When I first saw it, first of all, I couldn't believe it was her singing. The actual actress singing. So I had to Google that, and it was her. And then I was like, is she singing or is she talking? And it was just such a beautiful piece of music. I found it really inspiring, and I love to sing this song. I sang it at my book launch in Wicklow last week. Yeah.
Oh, you do your own version? Oh, fantastic! We're going to hear the original Moon River then from Audrey Hepburn.
Moon River, wider than a crossing you in style someday. Old dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. To see the world, there's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend. Huckleberry friend, Moon River, and me.
River, chosen by Davey MacManus, my guest tonight. The Bluster Boy is his autobiography. And you mentioned that you've been doing some events to launch the book. Where are you at musically then, Davey? Are you singing completely solo at the moment?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I started. I learned the piano. So yeah, like my first single, Bluster Boy, is just me on the piano, it's just myself and the piano at the moment. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
And what are the events for the book been like? What's the reaction been like in Ireland?
Yeah, the reaction has been really good over here, and we've had some really good write-ups. And so I launched it in Wicklow, actually in the bookshop owned by my next door neighbour, who's in the book. And there's a picture of me and her in the book, Joanna Hamilton, Bridge Street Books.
Oh, you're from when you were little?
Yeah, I became a musician and she became the owner of Ireland's best independent bookshop, Bridge Street Books. So,
great.
launched it there, and then Yeah, so the book's come out. Let's see. I guess Huw, the story is that my first ever book, which is called "Twist Me Then Forever in the Curved Moon." It's a book of poetry, released in Aberystwyth in 1995, and there's only 2 copies left. And I buried one copy of that with the book, and some of the poems handwritten, and a bar of chocolate somewhere in Ireland.
Oh.
And I wrote a poem describing where it is. Yeah, so people are trying to figure out where it is. It's like a treasure hunt, I guess, a modern day treasure hunt.
So is this book and the bar of chocolate still buried somewhere in Ireland?
Yeah. I only buried it on Saturday,
Okay.
so somewhere buried, yes, somewhere in Ireland.
And where do we find the clues for people who?
Sure,
I mean, I would travel to Ireland for this bar of chocolate.
On my Facebook, there's a picture of me. I'm holding a suitcase when I'm like 8 years old, and everything's buried in this suitcase. It's my teddy bear suitcase, and it's not buried deep. Okay, it's somewhere where a normal person can find it. It doesn't. You don't have to do anything dangerous to find it. Okay, it's easy to find, but you got to follow the clues in the poem. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about the photographs in the book, because there are so many at different points of your life. You in Africa with the young people you were helping. There's some of you boxing. There's some of you on stage with a band. Do you have thousands and thousands of photographs in boxes everywhere?
No. I mean, I had to really struggle to put together this book. Oh my God. I was trying to get photos from all over the place because, I've so many computers and phones have broken over the years, Huw, and hard drives. I've lost everything and started again so many times that I don't have any photos of anything. No, I got a lot of photos from the Crockett's pages on Facebook. Thank you for that, guys. And from Christopher Friend, who runs our fan site for the Crockett. Gave me a lot of the photos. And then a lot of the photos were taken by my lifelong friend, Neil Gavin, who I used to skateboard with. So he turned into a fashion photographer. So he took the photo for the front cover and a lot of the other photos as well.
And he directed a video for you as well, I read in the book.
He's directed all my new videos. Yeah. He's a good friend. Yes.
Oh, fantastic. And was it a cathartic experience for you writing this and looking back at your life so far, Davey?
Yeah, it was a very emotional thing writing this book, Huw. I don't know why that's it. Maybe that's why it's so matter of fact sometimes, because I just had to be matter of fact. But look, the thing is, I'm in a better place now. I'm in a much better place. So, on this recent tour, I played the tour. I was completely sober. I played for like an hour and 15 minutes every night. I didn't make any mistakes. So it's a different world that I'm living in now. And, I'm just doing what I can. But yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Like I said, there was a lot of tears on this tour from me and the crowd, but they were all happy tours, Huw. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we're very happy for you, and congratulations.
Yes.
And thank you. It's been great having you on tonight as well, catching up. Thank you for this book. It's The Bluster Boy from Davey MacManus. It's published by Rotten Poetry. You can find them rottenpoetry.net. Full of rot and full of poetry is their strapline. And it's a beautiful book. I've really enjoyed delving into it. And thank you for sharing some of the stories with us tonight and picking these wonderful songs as well. We're going to play, I think this is a recent single of yours now, Davey, Cigarette Burns on Your Heart.
Sure, yeah. So no, I wrote this song when I just when I came back from Africa the last time, and I was really heartbroken, and I was walking around London the whole time saying, hey, I love London, but it's just not the same. I was just really heartbroken at the time, and I really missed the children in Africa, I guess, when I wrote this song. Yeah, but it's off the new album. It's the last track on Even the Trees Know Karate, which is out on the 13th of this month.
Okay, the brand new record. And where does the title Even the Trees Know Karate come from?
Yeah, it's one of the songs on the album. You know, it's talking about Vietnam. It's a Vietnam song in the great tradition of Bruce Springsteen or Bob Dylan, and or the Doors, right? And it's a Vietnam song, and it's talking about even the trees know karate. You know,
fantastic. Well, we look forward to hearing the record in a few weeks as well. We'll play more from that over coming weeks, but for now, we'll play "Cigarette Burns on Your Heart." Davey MacManus, thank you so much for your company tonight.
Thank you very much.
Primrose Hill, the lions roar at sunset. But this ain't Africa. Escape parakeets frozen under wire. But this ain't Africa. Even close to Nyambani, Kenya. No. This ain't Africa. This ain't Africa. More beautiful than Iceland. More final than death. Felt like walking down the stairs in the dark and you miss a step. It felt like walking down the stairs in the dark and you miss a step. Walking down the stairs in the dark and you miss a step. It felt like everything was nothing. The stairs in the dark and you miss a step. She went down to the river and never came home again. But this ain't Africa. Kentish Town Station, there's people walking on the train track. But this ain't Africa. No. Ain't even close to Nyambani, Kenya. No. This ain't Africa. This ain't Africa. More beautiful than Iceland. More final than death. It felt like walking down the stairs in the dark and you miss a step. It felt like walking down the stairs in the dark and you miss a step. Walking down the stairs in the dark and you miss a step. It felt like everything was nothing. Down the stairs in the dark and you miss a step. I saw an angel of salvation. We turned left at the planet Neptune. There were storm clouds in the east. Teeth marks where you bit my arm. cigarette burns on your heart.
A huge thanks to Davey MacManus for being my guest tonight. Cigarette Burns on Your Heart. You can listen back to the interview anytime on BBC Sounds. And if you've been affected by any of the topics raised during the interview, or if you're suffering distress or despair and need support, there's a list of organisations that can help available at bbc.co.uk/action line.